Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When COVID-19 hit our shores in the early months of 2020, our nation began one of the most challenging chapters in its history. We entered a period marked by uncertainty, fear, and a staggering loss of life. And in those initial months, we as members of Congress and as a nation overcame our differences and came together to protect and provide relief through the Families First Coronavirus Response Act and the CARES Act for the American people in the face of this novel threat. Since that time, thanks to the life-saving impact of vaccines and tireless work of our nation's scientists and public health officials, we have turned the past on the darkest days of the COVID-19 pandemic. But during that same period, we have also seen an unsettling rise in mistrust for our nation's public health officials and misinformation and disinformation about the very interventions that saved us. As we began the 118th Congress, we had a rare opportunity to take a serious, constructive look at these problems and develop forward-looking solutions to safeguard Americans from current and future threats. And when I became ranking member, I stood ready to work with any member on either side of the aisle who would join me in this objective. But instead of taking steps forward to prevent and prepare our nation for future pandemics, this select subcommittee has spent 2 years fanning the flames of people's mistrust in public health and taking advantage of their fears. And under Republicans' leadership, the select subcommittee pursued vendettas against our nation's scientists and public health officials for partisan gain. But whether it was allegations that Dr. Fauci caused and covered up the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic, or that our nation's public health officials sought to keep schools and businesses closed, more than 500,000 pages of documents, more than 30 transcribed interviews, and nearly 24 hearings failed to turn up evidence to substantiate these extreme and baseless claims. And while the Select Subcommittee's probes did reveal discrete issues of misconduct that must be taken seriously, including by Dr. Peter Daszak and Dr. David Morins, we must ask ourselves whether our efforts over the past 2 years have fulfilled the objective of constructively improving our nation's ability to prevent and prepare for the future pandemics on the issues that matter most and that would have the most significant impact in those future pandemics. Look, since day one, I have said that the Select Subcommittee's mission must be collaborating to develop the forward-looking solutions that leave our nation better prepared for future novel viruses. I have wanted to examine how we close pathways for novel viruses to emerge, be they in nature or in a lab, or to focus on how we can strengthen our schools so that they can be better prepared to maintain safe in-person learning during future pandemics, to look at how we can build on progress in strengthening infection prevention and control in nursing homes to keep our seniors safe and save lives, to explore how we can lay the groundwork for the rapid development of future vaccines and therapeutics for novel viruses when they inevitably emerge. And we could have done all these important things that have a high impact, significant ability to curb the deaths of the next pandemic or possibly even prevent them. And I've asked for more over the past 2 years, but we didn't. We didn't. And while we haven't yet come together to tackle these serious challenges facing Republicans and Democrats alike, I have always looked for opportunities to do so. So as we begin today's hearing, I want to acknowledge that I welcome its focus, that I wish that we spent more time pursuing this subject with more experts, and I hope that we can commit to a forward-looking discussion about the road ahead. Because even after 2 years, I still believe that there is a lot more to do, and it's not too late to come together and do the work of saving future lives. Thank you, and I yield back.